Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Batman the Murder Machine. So, for those of you, the figure that's out right now from the McFarlane Toys, the Earth Negative 44, is the Murder Machine. And this cover, again, is kind of hard to see because it's one of those shimmering ones. But yeah, this is a great story. There are times where I feel it gets a little heavy-handed in terms of exposition, but in the beginning, it's done really well because it kind of brings the reader up to speed. And as I've said before, a comic book, no matter where you're at, when someone, like say a new collector, picks this up, they should be able to jump right in and kind of understand what's going on for the most part. And here it does. We open up on Earth Zero, which is our world. We're at Star Labs. This is Victor Stone's father. I can't remember the name of his first name off the top of my head. But he's basically telling Victor that he wants to stay at Star Labs while all this craziness that's happening with metal. Like he says here, it's the metal, isn't it? That's what you said the Blackhawks told you leaguers. Metal vibrating at the frequency of an undiscovered plane of existence. See metal number 1. In case you've forgotten, Victor, I've worked with otherworldly metals in the past. A few of them are right in your chest. So right there, you kind of like, okay, so there's this type of metal going on, yada, 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 makes you want to read more. So that is great work in terms of exposition. And before we can get any further with it, we jump over to the watchtower. So we're establishing that, Victor's is talking to his father. He's at Star Labs, and now we're at the watchtower. And before we go further into heavy metal, which I love that they actually use the font from the movie and the old comic books. That is awesome. So anyway, the writer is Frank Terry and James Tandy IV. Artist is Riccardo Federici. Colorist Ryan Barreto. Letters is Tom Napolitano. And here's everyone else working with the book. And of course, Batman was created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. Now, what I like here is Victor notices that someone's teleporting to the watchtower. He goes, it says it's Batman. Well, it looks like we'll need less of your help than I thought, Dad. I'll keep you posted. And so we see a Batman teleport. And I like that we can't really get the detail of who this character is. It's just sort of like, wait a minute. What Batman is this? Is this ours or what's going on? And then the next page is where we finally see, what's it called, the Murder Machine. Because he goes, don't worry, Cyborg. I'm here to help. So that's great. I like that. I like how they took their time to pace and introduce him. Because you don't get the full look of what he looks like there. He's not our normal Batsy. So we had to kind of play off the shadows a little bit. And then before we can get any more into that, we're jumped into Earth Negative 44. And the tonal change of the colors and the penciling, it gets real gritty and dark and sort of like an indie comic in a way. And it's Batman's rogue gallery beating poor Alfred to a pulp. And they're saying, enough of this. Now tell us where Batman is before we get really rough. And Alfred's just like, Batman? What, pray tell, is a Batman? Perhaps there's another way I can be of service. And something brutal happens that I don't want to play back. Nonetheless, to suffice it to say that Alfred dies, which I feel is a little too soon after what's happened in the Prime universe. But Bruce has been watching the playback security feed for weeks and weeks. And this is, I believe, I don't know if this is Lois and Clark or if this is Diana. But nonetheless, they're saying, you need to stop doing this and stop blaming yourself. So the healthy thing is to put him to rest. What happened to Alfred was horrible. But as everybody goes to leave, Bruce calls on Vic. And he goes, I've been working on an artificial intelligence. I call it the Alfred Protocol. I need your help to bring it online. So Vic, being a friend, offers to do so. But before we get any more of that backstory, This is where, I mean, it gets a little heavy-handed, because while we get back into this tonal shift, which I like, there's a lot of talking. But at least while they're talking, there's a fight or whatnot. It's not just like two people sitting around a cup of coffee or sitting on a couch. So at least while there's exposition going on, you know, it's what's it called? The plot is advancing, and we get some really beautiful panels. Like here, where the two of them go off, and they basically, it's the same technology going at it. So, and what's really nice is the opposites here, where Vic has his humanity, and this murder machine does not. Because then we go back to Earth -44, and we see Bane in the middle of the city, and he's like, "Look, I'm not going to go after Batman anymore. See, I'm going to the airport now. I'm going home to Santa Prisca." But we see all these AI Alfred saying, "How may I help you? How may I help you? How may I help you?" And so you find out that the Alfred protocol, like Vic brought it online with the intention of it kind of serving Bruce as it did before, you know, feeding him, taking care of him, stitching him up. But it goes rogue. And it goes out to protect Batman, and it kills off a lot of people. I don't want to give away a lot, but just suffice it to say it that. Now, the AI keeps asking Bruce to let him into the cave. And Vic's like, "It's a virus. We need to fight this." But Bruce, -44 Bruce, says how he embraced it when they came into the cave. And he said, "When they obliterated my flesh, the weakest thing I did was scream, because my father rebuilt me from the ground up." So this is no longer a Batman in a suit. This is him. The nanotechnology rebuilt him into this horrid machine. And he goes, "If you shred your humanity, Vic, just think of all the things you can accomplish without having that conscience." But we know Vic, he is too passionate and would not do that. And we go back to -44, and you know, he's saying, "Vic, how do you expect to beat me on this planet when you couldn't even do it on my planet?" And the way he takes out Victor in this universe, it's intense. Read the book to check out what happened. But like here is where they finally kind of are able to put down Vic in this universe. You get this gorgeous splash page of all the Dark Knights. So here's the Drowned, here's the Murder Machine, the Red Death, the Dawnbreaker, the Merciless, and oh my god, Devastator. I was like, what's his name? So yeah, you finally kind of get to see all of them together. And at this point, you know, all the books have not been released. So you're just kind of like, some of these few, you're like, who are these? Like the next book at this point was supposed to be Dawnbreaker. So people are like, who's this guy in the green? Yada, yada, yada. So I like how they took their time to pace and flesh out these characters. I just wish when the main story happened that these people, these Batmen, had more screen time, suffice it to say. So, you know, here comes the leader, the Batman who laughs. And he says something kind of interesting. He goes, "You think how much trouble that metal could have caused us if he had any idea how to wield it. Good thing he's got some old friends to show him the way." And, you know, he leans down at Vic. And he goes, "Oh, hush now, Victor. Don't try to speak. I know we must seem like cruel monsters of nightmare, crawling out of the abyss to run over your world. And in a way, we are." There's one little thing I wanted to read before we close off. And the Batman who laughs says, hold on, I got a page in my way here. He goes, "The truth is, we're only here because the world was dark enough to dream us into existence. Because deep down, it needed us to protect us from themselves. We all heard it echoing through the cosmos, through the very firmament. A great ringing." So I like how heavy that gets there towards the end, talking about how the dark multiverse was created, the repercussions of it, and why these characters from this dark universe want to invade Earth Zero. It brings, if this was like a new reader picking this up, they kind of get the idea of what's going on, and they'd want to go read Metal to get more. So that's what I mean by make it enough to where new characters, new readers can jump on and feel comfortable enough to enjoy the story. So, and then again, as I said, even though there's a lot of talking between the Murder Machine and Cyborg, at least they're fighting, there's pace, and it's moving the story forward instead of just idle conversation that can slow any book down. So definitely a good read, and if you've enjoyed this comic book, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like and subscribe. And if you wouldn't mind sharing the video, it helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel. Love to hear your feedback and talk with y'all down in the comments below. Also on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.